Some time ago, somebody asked me, could I do a short video on explaining audio? I'm not very professional in audio, so I'm not going to be going through facts and figures and all that kind of stuff. So because I'm in a learning process myself, but I just know the basics. Now, in the paranormal, there is a confusion over recording in very, very low bit that the recorder actually struggles and barbles and warps, the audio warps, and they believe that it creates that frequency for a spirit to talk. It may be so, but the problem, and I had to find out for myself, and I found out the very expensive way, that audio, it is so low that when you put it into audio software and you try to slow it down, it's like an elastic band. When you stretch it, it gets weaker and weaker. So if there's anything that's low level picked up on the recorder, you know, an EVP that's way down low on the volume range, it is very, very hard to extract these responses out. So it is extremely difficult. Plus, it's not reliable. The DR60 at this stage is gained shocking prices on eBay. You gotta remember, it's a late 90s recorder, and it's old, and it's not going to last forever, and they're fetching 2,000 to 3,000 quid. Now, what I'm going to show you here, I wasn't stupid enough to buy a DR60 for my experiments, but I was stupid enough to buy something similar, which is the RRQ R80. Now, on a high, there's a low, medium and high setting on this, and on the low setting it warbles a bit, and on the high setting it isn't too bad. But file transfer on both of these devices, there's no USB and that, so file transfer is more difficult. As well as that, they're voice recorders. Now, I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but just remember, they're voice recorders, and voice recorders is designed for recording voices. In an office setting, you could be somebody could be speaking out a letter. You give it to the secretary. They go through the voice recorder and they used to type out the letters or whatever, stuff like that. It's a voice recorder. There's a bit of a difference between a voice recorder and a professional audio recorder. I'm going to get into that in a bit. But here's another one that I've seen a lot on paranormal shows and paranormal investigators. It's an old Sony. Don't have one of those. Again, very old, can be a low bit as far as I know, and that is why some people use them. I have another one here, which is a Panasonic QR150, I think, or something like that. It's one of the Panasonics anyway. Another old recorder. I wouldn't go down this route. Then you have some people that are, you know, they're on a budget and they go for something like this, which is a very, very cheap £13 or so voice recorder on eBay. It's got a little metal case. The quality, you know, build wise, was better than I thought, but it's got a very tinny sound. I'm not, you know, if you're on a budget, I don't know, maybe, but, you know, I'm going to show you some recorders. If you haven't got the money or budget for them, it might be a good idea possibly to hold off and get good quality good quality audio recording rather than just the office type recorders, which is just a simple voice recorder. The first piece of equipment that I ever used, I never bought until recently, and I'm actually doing this video using one of these, is the Zoom H1. The Zoom H1. Zoom is a very, very good company when it comes to professional audio recording. It records in MP3 and WAV files. Now, people asked me before too, should I record? How do I set up my recorder? You set it up on the highest setting possible and make sure that your recorder, if at all possible, has a WAV format. Because the reason why people don't use MP3 is a compression. It compresses the file so you can record more, but you lose quality on MP3. The WAV files is the raw files, and the higher your quality, the less space you got on your recorder, but you're better off on the highest that you possibly can. Now, the reason for this is you're going to have crisp audio. Now, that's the Zoom H1. There is the setup of it, and the reason why I didn't buy it in the beginning is because the buttons here on the side were difficult to see. But after buying one, and I bought this one for £25 plus £5 postage. That's the best deal I've seen on eBay. They are top quality recorders, but they can be got for under £100 new. But make sure before you go on an investigation that you have it set properly, that you don't have to be messing around with these settings in the dark. But really, the H1 is very, very easy to set up. Set it up on WAV, set it up on the highest bitrate possible, and another difference between these and Office standard Olympus recorders is your microphones are on the outside of the case. They're far away, they're more sealed from the electronics inside, so and more of the microphone is exposed to the outside, so you're going to pick up a lot more with an audio device like this. Now, what they did was they had this recorder out for a number of years, and then they vamped it up a little bit and done a few things that made it a lot more versatile. This is the size of the recorder. It's small, you can see by the size of the hand, it's nice and small. This is the recorder. This is the new vamped up version. It's the H1N, and instead of having the buttons on the side, all the controls are up front, and the little you got a little wheel there for your gain and stuff like that. You know, it's the same thing but a different layout and a more modern version from that. It is light. You know, it's got a rubberized casing on it, but if you do drop it, you may break it. You know, the difference between the H1 and the H1N is that the H1 only required one AA battery, and the H1N requires two. So it's you know, a completely different device, but a better laid out device than the H1, but still the H1 is still a very good device. Your other option is a Tascam GR05. You know, what we're doing here is we're going into the budget professional. The professional companies like Tascam and Zoom, the lower down in the range, you can get really, really complicated stuff from these companies. But you know, these are not much more than you would pay for an office Olympus recorder, you know, and these do everything for you. This Tascam DR05 is a lot bulkier. The quality is slightly better. It's got a little bit more options in it, but an excellent recorder, very, very good quality audio. Again, the microphones on the outside, well shielded from the electronics inside, and just a very, very good quality recorder. And you're talking about approximately £20, a little bit, around £20 more than than an Office Olympus that records an MP3 and is just a voice recorder. These are professional audio recorders. They're used in the music industry. They are also used with radio stations that are out on, they're out on the street interviewing people and stuff like that. This is the companies that they turn to when it comes to audio, to get the best audio they possibly can. Now, you might ask, why buy these when you said that, the internals, the noisy internals and that, the frequency is possibly there for spur communication? Well, it is a theory, but I'm going on older researchers that are doing EVP work. And instead of having very poor quality audio internally, which you cannot enhance very well because it's just like an elastic band, and the more you stretch it, the weaker it gets, and it starts becoming, you just can't make out what is in there. You've got top quality audio, but if you wanted the noise, use external noise. You see YouTubers, they'll do EVP sessions, right? And they're asking a couple of questions. They stop it, they play it back and all that kind of stuff. I don't do stuff like that. The older researchers, what they do is they do a session like like what we would do a Spirit Box session, but they would do it with these recorders with static noise in the background, or a mixture of different static noises at different frequencies, or mixing in nature sounds and all kind of stuff without the human voices, and that's a noise. These researchers believe that the communicators can use that external noise, so you don't need the internal noise. And when you go to analyze your audio, you've got top quality audio, so that is it's just a simple recommendation on audio. The two audio recorders that I value the most in this is the Zoom H1 and the Tascam DR05. Also, with professional audio devices like this, you can use them like a parabolic microphone. And actually, the Tascam, no, the Zoom H1 was the first piece of equipment that I used that a paranormal investigator gave me a lend of, and I was involved in their paranormal investigation, and my little job was to listen out for audio. And rather than just having my ears, I had this Tascam recording in my pocket, and a pair of headphones, so if anything came up, I could call it out, but it was recorded as well. Also, what you can do with these as well is you can use them for your camera's audio. You can plug them into your camera if you have the sockets for it. So it's good audio for your camera. It's good audio for listening out, putting a pair of headphones and listening out in a location rather than just using your own ears. So you're listening out and you're recording at the same time, so if anything does get picked up, you have it recorded and that. You know, certainly some of these older recorders aren't going to be as versatile as these. You know, but one thing I wanted to add about low bit recorders is a high probability of pareidolia. Now, you know, if people wanted to experiment with low bit recording, at least back it up with a high quality recording device. That way that you have some sort of a strong backup. You know, but pareidolia is a massive, massive thing on low bit. You know, we're talking really, really on the limit here. So a shuffle, a sniff, rubbing of a coat, you know, movement of clothes can all sound like voices on a low bit recorder, and it's very, very difficult to prove that it's an EVP or not. It's extremely hard because the information isn't gathered properly. It isn't gathered with the high quality audio. So that's why high quality audio very, very important. That is it, folks. You know, when it comes to audio, recommend the best quality that you can possibly get. You know, and if you do believe in the noise theory, which the older researchers do, rather than go down the line of an old low bit recorder, which sometimes you cannot. It's very, very hard to get stuff out of because the quality is so on the limit. If you've got a high quality recording, you can slow it down a lot more without destroying or distorting the audio. You know, so you know, audio is very, very important in a paranormal investigation. Audio and visual, but a lot of people say that the most of evidence that they've ever got was actually audio. So why skimp on it? You know, why go half measures? Get good quality audio, just a little bit more than an average Olympus office recorder, and you've got professional audio recording that professional musicians use, radio stations use, recording studios use, you know. But that is it, folks. I'll see you in another video.